Hello and welcome back to another YouTube video. Today I'm going to be talking about Spear of Shojin, which is a legendary item introduced in this pre-season. As I have covered all the mythics which can be built in the top lane and mythics which have been changed, I'm going to cover some of the legendary items which can be built in the top lane. So Spear of Shojin is an AD health CDR item which on ability, which gives non-ultimate ability CDR and half of that if they're on CC abilities. It gives, I'm pretty sure, half of that to ranged on top, so it's really nerfed to a ranged, and it also gives movement speed when you're low on health. So it does a decent amount of things, and in my opinion, it is a very good item on certain champions. A lot of champions can't actually build this item because they don't benefit from many of the stats, or just in general they don't benefit from the stats. So a lot of AP champions can quickly just go, they're never going to build this item. And if you enjoy the content, please like and subscribe. It will really help. I'm trying to make more content and just see how it goes over time. So let's get into it. I'm going to keep removing just a bunch of these champs, which obviously won't build the item, as they're either AP focused, ratio focused, or don't really need CDR. So something like Udyr could be someone who built the item. I think I've already moved him. But because he's not too reliant on CDR for his abilities, he doesn't really need it. Mundo doesn't have AD ratios. He does benefit from AD, but as he already builds stuff like the Wave Clear one, like Titanic Hydra, which is really good on him, should almost be built every single game as his second item, into something like Sterix, which should be built significantly more than it is at the moment. Probably won't see Spear of Shojin on him. It's either going to be very niche or just not very good. So I'll put him higher than these because he's someone who can make use of the item. I think Gnar definitely has the ability to build this item with his kit. As more of like a damage focused build, he might build it, but it's once again another item which is very rarely built on him. I think Ravenous is probably a better thing to look at the moment on Gnar as one of the new items. It's hard to like look at how good Spear of Shojin is, as this item isn't built a huge amount because it's not a first item, whereas most of the mythic items will be first. So the data is very limited on it. Renekton's definitely someone who can build this item. I don't even know if you build it on lethality. It does look like you do, so definitely a good item. Really good as a third, fourth, fifth. It works a decent amount. More CDR on Q is huge, plus E, more dashes. This generates Fury, which converts into damage. All the stats are useful for him, so yeah, definitely worth building on him. It might be one of his best in the slots, so there's not a lot of data on it, and Shroud's Renekton is really slept on at the moment, but definitely consider it. It's pretty good. Yasuo won't build this item. His Q doesn't reduce with CDR. He doesn't really need health, so yeah, he won't build it. Volibear is another champ who I'm going to presume won't build it. His Q counts as a CC ability, so it does less. He's not too CDR, CDR reliant, and AD isn't hugely important on him. Yeah, Titanic's like nice as an item on Volibear as a second, because you can go either your Triforce into Titanic, or you can go more tanky into Titanic. But Volibear right now this season is really struggling. I'll put it as an option because it's definitely better than these, but once again, another champ which lacks a lot of data in the top lane as well. Sion, terrible champion at the moment. You have to build Titanic on him second to make him any good. Probably won't build this item. It's another champ which can benefit from health CDR and AD, which is why I'll put him higher than these as well. Yon won't build this item. Falls in the same category as Yasuo, where he doesn't really benefit from a lot of the stats the item gives, so it's a bit more niche. Yorick is probably going to build this item sometimes. It definitely has things which can synergize with this kit. CDR is nice, damage is nice, health is nice. He can use this to get more ghouls out. I think if you're snowballing as Yorick, it probably can work. It's around C. I think I need to definitely adjust these tiers for certain items, because very bad item, like, is it very bad on these champs? Maybe, but they're not Yeah, Vitiz, I think Vitiz are just a basic outlier, where, because the gap between these two is definitely there, but it's not like so huge that this champ it's bad on, because it can work on this champ. Poppy probably won't build this item. Poppy does have AD ratios within her E, R, and Q. She might even have them within her W. I don't think so. I think her W is primarily AP. I think it's entirely AP actually. But it might be an option on Poppy. Can benefit from the stats on it. Doesn't get built at all. I might have to make a question mark tier because some of these champs just don't have the item built on them. I could see it as better than these, but not really built a lot. Argot probably won't build this item. Argot's got the problem where he plays like a melee champion, but he's ranged. And, I mean, he is ranged because he's got a chain gun, and that makes him ranged, but he wants to be melee, definitely. It's another cat. It's higher than these, but it's not going to work on him. Garen scales with attack speed, and doesn't really need a lot of damage items past your Mortal Reminder and your Stride Breaker, because when he goes into something like Dead Man's, he can go into Death Stance, he can go into Starix. There's a decent amount of options you can have with Garen. Spirit Shojin doesn't look awful on him, but a lot of this is win rate bias, and it's very limited the amount it's played with. Akshan won't build this item. Fiora, definitely good on. Probably one of her best in slots. From what I've been playing with the item, it feels really nice on Fiora, but the CDR on Q and E is huge. You can almost use it as a way of skipping CDR boots as well, or you can go it with CDR boots, which makes it feel really, really good. So yeah, definitely a good Spirit Shojin user. Probably third item after you've gone your Ravenous first into Divine or Gordrinker second into Shojin. That's a pretty solid build path, and it's probably going to win you most of your games. Fiora is pretty hard though, and very ping reliant, so you might lose some of your first ones, but definitely try this jump out whilst it's overpowered. Cassante won't build this item. He doesn't have AD ratios, I don't think, anymore. I think they took them out in the changes just before he went live, because his Q used to have 20% AD ratio scaling on it, and I don't think it does anymore, so he should be down here. I don't know why I'm putting him here. Jace probably can build this item. Jace does benefit from CDR. He likes Lucidities. He likes Manamune. Both these items have CDR on them. Shereldas. Yomu's also. There's a lot of CDR items he builds. Yomu's might just be one he adds. Spirit Shojin might just be one that he takes if he wants a lot of AD combined with health and is playing more Bruiser. I'm wondering if Bruiser Jace is more of an option now when they gave him the AD into his resistances. You can probably build a bit more health with the AD so you can balance it out, and you're a bit more tanky and a bit more frontline. Maybe Gordrinker or Stridebreaker Jace could exist. We don't know. There's no games on them really. It has a positive win rate, but it's less than 0.5% of games for Gordrinker. So there is always an option. Jace is definitely up here. Quinn won't build this item. I'm willing to say it should be down here. Trundle probably won't either. He doesn't really need CDR. He's very Sheen reliant and kind of goes off that. I think my internet has gone down. That sucks. I can do a lot of these based on perception though. Yeah, so Lilia, Gwen, Cassiopeia, Rise, Heimerdinger, Kayle, Gragas, Swain, Cho'Gath, Malphite, Silas. Yeah, a lot of these champs won't build this item, definitely. Gangplank probably won't, but it has some things it can synergize within his kit. The barrel's getting more CDR, combined with his W, combined with his Q, it's AD. There's a lot of things which can work within his kit with this item, so it might be a C tier. Trundle, like I said, probably around D tier. Ornn is also a champ which just doesn't really benefit from this item. Tahm Kench, Shen. I think that's most of the ones taken out which won't. Yeah, Mordekaiser. Pantheon is unlikely to, but I'm not certain. There might be room for like a Gordrinker Pantheon, like a more bruiser heavy rather than pure assassin, because right now he should go Bork, Eclipse. I see very few people rush Bork on him. Bork with PTA is definitely Pantheon's strongest itemization. So play that if you don't. It's probably like a 60% win rate build. Super strong. I think there is definitely things within his kit which work with the item. The AD ratios, the health, the CDR on Q, E, even on W, because that will also get reduced a bit. I think it's probably up here. Olaf doesn't need, like Olaf benefits from CDR, but doesn't need it as much as he used to. He's a lot more, I'd say he's like you need Stride Breaker on him, and then you need to go Death Stance. These are like a certain pairing with him. But I can see Shojin working on him. He doesn't have any CC ability, so he's not reduced by that. It's health, which is fine, AD, which is fine, and CDR, which is fine. So the stats suggest that it probably would work on Olaf quite well. Let's just quickly have a look. Olaf with Shojin. Played a bit, not a lot. It definitely has a good win rate, but Death Stance. Even Ravenous is really, like, Ravenous looks really good on Olaf right now. Yeah, Ravenous, Gore Drinker, Triforce, Stride Breaker. All these are really good options. Even Crit Olaf with the Shield Bow, definitely good. So Olaf might be a champion which can run it quite well. I'll quickly have a look at Pantheon. Yeah, apologies. The reason why this video is kind of late is because my internet's been playing up all day. It's been really frustrating. And even now it's kind of going down every so often. Yeah, Pantheon actually sometimes feels this as a third option when you're going. So you Bork into Eclipse or Eclipse into Bork. Even Ravenous Pantheon, another one. A lot of these champs actually are really good with Ravenous. Even ones which you wouldn't think primarily would be good Ravenous runners are because it's such a strong item at the moment. It definitely will get nerfed again, and I wonder how they'll nerf it. But overall, the item is just so stacked. So definitely build this if your champion can consider it. I like Shrouders on Pantheon, but honestly, it's probably an A tier. Graves won't build this item. He's ranged, which really hurts him when building this item. And if you're going Bruiser Graves, you're not building as much AD as Lethality. You are still building a lot of AD, don't get me wrong, but it's probably around here. I'll put it in C. It's another one which probably needs testing. Graves top is very limited sample size at the moment. Shojin's set, I've seen this a couple of times. It's looked pretty good, so I think it's definitely up there. But from what I can see, Gore Drinker into Titanic, Shojin, Sterix, yeah, it's up here, definitely. Might be one of his best. There's not a lot of data. I'll put it up here, definitely. I think as a third item, and then Sterix is probably his best. So, yeah. Jax, as in the past, was always really good with this item. It's probably his best third item, yeah. Frozen Heart Jax is definitely gone from the glory. It's no longer the glorious thing it used to be where you go Divine Syndra into a Frozen Heart where you could build it. But it's still an option. But yeah, Shojin, really good at the moment. Probably his best third and second item. Camille, I don't know if Camille will build this. I think I've seen it once maybe on Camille. Yeah, not built a lot. Another, it's not performing badly on her, so definitely an option. I'll put her up here as a can work, but a lot of these will be just not a lot of data, but perceived as a champion, which it would be really good on. Darius, I don't know about. Darius already has a pretty good core build, so let's have a look. Not a lot of games. I'll put it here. It's definitely something which looks like it could work on Darius, but Darius doesn't need a lot of CDR. Nasus probably won't build this item. Nasus does benefit from CDR as well, but he really wants resistances as his core thing alongside Sheen. So Ice One's really good when you're into AD comps. Divine Syndra is good into health stacking. Triforce is good into squishier and ones where you want to split push a lot more. Shojin's not really played on him. I'll put it down here. Once again, this is a champ where it might have room on, but Nasus already got a pretty standard core build, so it's pretty unlikely. Warwick is not really building this item. Warwick's really strong at the moment. Ravenous Rush and Jack Show make Warwick a monster at the moment. Definitely worth playing. Definitely worth trying. Probably down here somewhere. Alawi strikes me as someone who'd be really good with Shojin. Very limited games on it. It's got a high win rate, but once again, it's probably people building it in correct situations. Put it down here. Strikes me as an item which would be better than the this row of champs, but it's hard to tell. Very few games on. Tryndamere probably won't. I know Navori Tryndamere is doing really well, which is a video I want to talk about. Just Navori in general. It looks really, really good on certain champions. People are building a Shojin Tryndamere, and it doesn't look like it's doing too badly, so I'll put it here. Maybe as like a fourth option when you're going your Kraken PD or Ravenous Kraken Navori. There's a couple options what you can do with Tryndamere. I don't play Tryndamere that much, so I don't know off the top of my head on what he can build, but from what the data suggests, yeah, Ravenous is by far his best item, which I mean it is built his most, which is good to see. And then Kraken is second, Navori is third, and I think after that you can kind of flex the rest of your Chevalders, Spirit Shojin. There's a couple options on what you can do. So it's around here. I'll put it at the top of C. Wukong, I'm pretty sure does build this item. I could be wrong though. Let's have a look. It's pretty good on Wukong. Ravenous, once again, dominates this champion. Really, really good with the item. I think, as a third item, it looks pretty good. So, definitely consider this. It's probably one of his best. Kled, I don't think it would work on Kled that well. He doesn't really need CDR that much. Not CDR. He doesn't really need the, I mean, yeah, he doesn't need the CDR a huge amount on the abilities. In general, he does want CDR, but the Q's going to be stunted because it counts as a CDR, as a CC ability. His E and W have had their cooldowns reduced massively to buff him back up after he was nerfed from tank lead. And because of that, I don't think he needs the item that much. It's definitely worth like looking into, but I'll put it as a count mod because it's better than these ones. But once again, not a lot of data. It's also kind of situational, whereas these ones, it's for sure one of their best items. Aurelia doesn't look like Aurelia's building this item. Aurelia's really, really good with Jackshow at the moment. Definitely played Bork into Jackshow. Even Ravenous into Bork into Jackshow. Ravenous Aurelia looks really good as well, so definitely worth trying. Not really built at all on Aurelia. I'll put her around here. It's like better than these, but around the same tier as them. Riven, I think it would be good on Riven, but because her Q and her W count as CC abilities, I'm pretty sure the item would be enough for her on those two. A good win rate, really good win rate as a third item and fourth item. So yeah, definitely one of her best. Probably her best. I mean, what, you go Ravenous into Gore Drinker, into Shojin, into Death Stance. I think that's probably Riven's best build. But yeah, it looks really good on Riven. Aatrox, W and Q count as CC abilities. Not built a lot. I think it can work, so I'll put it around there. And Rengar, really good with Spirit Shojin from what I've heard. I'm looking at Jungle Rengar, nice. Yeah, Shojin as a third item on Rengar looks really good. You can go Ravenous Eclipse Shojin, you can go Ravenous Gore Drinker Shojin. There's a lot of options there. But yeah, this is Shojin. It looks really good as an item. I don't know if they will nerf it, because win rate biases, and it's limited to only a couple of champions. It can't really be built anywhere other than top lane, and I guess on some junglers. So we'll have to see how it goes. Patch will drop on patch preview will drop on Monday and Tuesday, so we'll get to see the things on Monday, and then the actual in-depth changes on Tuesday, which I'll cover both and give my reaction to. But yeah, this is Spirit Shojin. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye. I couldn't find it again. Nice!